I kept Shabbat for the first time, surprised that I could survive a whole day without my phone in my early 20s. That was an accomplishment. I wrapped tefillin, uncomfortably enduring their unfamiliar weight and tug. And I wanted to try covering my head. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi teaches that a Jewish person should not walk 4 amot, beyond their personal space bubble, without a head covering, as a reminder of God's presence above us. So I tried wearing a kippah, but something about it didn't feel quite like the right expression of my identity and my intention. As I explored the minhag, the custom of head covering, I learned that even the Talmudic rabbis had their preferences. Rav Papa wrapped a blanket around his head. Rav Asi had a scarf. Inspired, I tried a headband. First for prayer, then for learning, and now, every time I leave my daled amot, my 4 amot, that personal space bubble. In 2019, when the Conservative Movement's Committee on Jewish Law and Standards affirmed that head coverings for women were valid in many forms, I felt even more assured in my choice. Headbands work for me. Each morning, when I put on my headband, matching its color and style to my outfit, I feel connected to a Jewish custom that facilitates a sense of belonging to community, as well as an awareness of God's presence. But after October 7th, I began to feel guilty about my choice to wear a headband rather than a kippah. Reports of harassment against kippah wearers surged. Friends and family of mine who never thought twice about wearing a kippah in public in Canada now hesitated. Even my husband, for the first few weeks of uncertainty after October 7th, opted to cover his kippah with a hat on his walks to and from shul on Shabbat. I wondered, should I be wearing a kippah? In a moment when Jewish pride and visibility felt urgent, was my choice to wear a headband too subtle? Would anyone even know or understand that I wear my headband as an expression of Jewish tradition, pride, and identity? Parashat Ki Tisa speaks to different levels of knowledge and understanding. When Betzalel is appointed to build the Mishkan, the Torah describes him as being filled with chokhmah, tvuna, and da'at, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Rashi explains that these 3 words are distinct rather than emphatic and come to teach us about different ways of knowing. Chokhmah is knowledge that is gained from what can be visibly observed from others. Tvuna is a deeper understanding that comes from insight into the actions and values of another human being. And da'at is some sort of intuitive, divine knowledge. Betzalel was so successful at building the Mishkan, God's dwelling place on earth, because he had all 3 of these kinds of knowledge. I see these categories reflected in how we all express our Jewish identities. Chokhmah is what we perceive or show at a glance. Clothing, jewelry, ritual garb. The length of someone's payas can tell you a lot about the sect of Orthodox Judaism to which they ascribe. A Magen David necklace can show a lot about Jewish identity. Even the color or the knit of someone's kippah can indicate religious or political leanings. By choosing to wear a headband instead of a kippah, I realized that an onlooker might not immediately recognize my observance, eliminating chokhmah as a category by which I can express my Jewish identity. That realization unsettles me a little bit. There's a certain disappointment in knowing that my commitment to Judaism may go unnoticed by those who look for more traditional markers to identify belonging. But there is a growing number of those members like me of Headband Nation, as we call ourselves, women who are proudly observant and egalitarian, and who are known to be so by their staple accessory piece. Tvuna is what we learn about others through their words and their actions, by really knowing them, not by what they look like on the outside. It's through our daily choices, our commitment to mitzvot, our acts of tzedakah, of generosity, our engagement with Jewish learning, that we express our Judaism beyond what is visible on the surface. In our community, we see this in the way we gather for minyan so that others can say Kaddish. In the missions to Israel we are leading in the year to come and we have led in the past year. How we joined the coldest night of the year walk last month to support local charities, serving people experiencing hurt, hunger, and homelessness. If you know Beth Tzedec, if you really know Beth Tzedec, and you don't have to look far or hard, you know that these actions are profound declarations of who we are and what we believe in. This past week, in my Intro to Judaism class, one of my conversion students was reflecting on Esther's courage in revealing her Jewish identity in the story of Purim. Esther's name itself hints at hiddenness. Her Judaism was not obvious from the outside. It was mastir, hidden. But when it mattered most, Esther acted with bravery, revealed her identity, and changed the fate of her people. It must have run in the family. Esther's uncle Mordechai showed his values and first revealed his identity not necessarily by the clothes he wore or the way he spoke, but by his refusal to bow to any king other than God. Yarden Bibas, released from Hamas captivity a little over a month ago, was told by his captors that he would be treated better if he converted to Islam. He refused, proudly clinging to his Jewish identity. I was born a Jew, and I will die a Jew. Yarden Bibas's words reminded me of Mordechai's refusal to bow, and also of journalist Daniel Pearl's final words before being brutally murdered by jihadist terrorists in Pakistan in 2002. My father is Jewish. My mother is Jewish. I am a Jew. If you know me, you know that Judaism shapes my life. From the moment I wake up in the morning and whisper a groggy moda'ani over a steaming cup of coffee to the moment I fall asleep, having spent my day teaching Torah and hoping to bring others closer to mitzvot. If you know me, if you really know me, then you know that my headband is not just an accessory, but a statement of values, of identity, of belonging, of faith. Da'at, the deepest level of knowing, is a sense beyond words or actions, a knowing that doesn't require any proof. It's what Moses experienced in our Torah reading today, when he begged God to reveal God's self to him. When God agreed to pass by Moshe, who was shielded from God's abounding presence in the cleft of a rock, Moshe saw only God's back. Although God's face remained hidden to Moses, he continued to believe, to have emunah, faith. The concept of hester panim, God's hidden face, is central to the story of Esther that we read yesterday. Nowhere in the Megillah is God's name mentioned explicitly, yet divine presence and providence permeate the story. That's true also of our lives. Even when God feels hidden, we maintain a deep faith that God is present. And customs like covering our heads are a sign of that emunah, that faith. Faithful knowing, da'at, is the ultimate level of knowledge and allows us to hold both the hidden and the revealed, the personal and the public, the seen and the unseen. Perhaps God, who sees into the depths of our hearts, Yodea ta'alumot, knows what we intend by the choices we make about how we express our Jewishness, what we wear, how we act, what we say, and perhaps that's enough. May we all have the strength, like Mordechai and Esther before us, like Daniel Pearl and Yarden Bibas, to wear and live our Judaism proudly, on the outside and on the inside. And may we merit, like Betzalel, to be endowed with a variety of ways to express who we are and what we believe in and the people that we are a part of. Shabbat Shalom.